Hi, and welcome to the show Podium. And we're on 038. And this show, we're just going to complete a series of discussions and conversation that we are having with Sunday Times bestselling author, speaker, and executive coach Jamie Smart. And we put together a webinar called Performing at Your Best When You're at Your Worst. And this is now coming to the end of that series. I've got one more session to put out next week. And this one is about what are the benefits of this understanding? Because we talk about it really doesn't matter whether you know about it, whether you understand it, whether you care about it. Because it's not a concept. There are no techniques here in this work. It's more about understanding how it is human beings get to experience life. How is it that the mind works to create human experience? And so we're just going to go straight over now to this session, and I really hope that you enjoy it. So if somebody's listening to this, Jamie, and they have not been involved in this conversation before, I'm wondering if you could, in terms of performance, just kind of do a little bit of a before and after in terms of behaviors and responses, that if you felt your experience in a particular endeavor was coming from outside, how is it that would show up for you in terms of behaviors, and versus that same thing and you see that it's coming from within you via this use of the mind, then how would those behaviors and responses change? Do you have any sort of specific examples or a story?
Well, it's interesting. So it looks to me like if you understand this stuff, then it doesn't really matter what state you're in or whatever. You can still put in a good performance. But then if you don't understand this stuff, it must stand to reason that it doesn't matter what state you're in, you can still put in a good performance. And you have, like everyone listening here and everyone has put in good performances when they weren't in a good place, and good performances when they were in a good place, and bad performances when they weren't in a good place, and bad performances when they were in a good place. Those they're not causally connected. So behaviorally, I'm not sure that there's any specific behavior that you can say, yeah, you will see this behavior or you won't see that behavior with this understanding. Here's what I do know. There's a study was done of Olympic gold medalists, and they followed up with them after they'd won the gold medal. And what they found was that the aftermath of winning an Olympic gold was actually very, very binary. Olympic gold medalists tend to either thrive and flourish and have successful careers after they win the gold. So they go on to be coaches or brand ambassadors or whatever, and they do very, very well, and they have happy, fulfilling lives of contribution and enjoyment and that sort of thing, or they crash and burn. It's very binary. It seems to be large. It's like a parabolic curve. Is there at one end of the spectrum or the other? Very little in the middle. And they looked into this as to what was it, and they found that the athletes who won the gold and then went off the rails, and we see this a lot with boxers actually as well. They achieve big victory and then they kind of go off the rails or into drugs or alcoholism or whatever. The ones that that won the gold and then went off the rails, they had been almost without exception running a pattern which was, I'll be happy when I get to the next level. And so the next level might have been, when they're a kid, okay, I'll be happy when I get picked for the varsity team. And then I'll be happy when I get to be a league player. And then I'll be happy when And they kept every time they go, once I get there, then I'll be happy. I'll feel fulfilled. I'll feel successful. I'll feel validated. And they got there and they're like, yeah, this is amazing. Oh, no, it's the same as it was last week. And so they do it again and keep looking outside, looking outside in the future for the sense of happiness and well-being and peace and contentment that can only come from within. Whereas the ones who tended to be happy and thrive and flourished after they won the gold, they tended much more to be just in it for the love of the game. They still had a goal, a direction that they were heading in, but that was something they were inspired by, but they weren't looking to that to make them happy. It was, and when they were looking to see how they did, they looked back to where they'd come from. Well, oh wow, I'm doing good. So they intuitively see. Here's the thing: on the field, or in the boxing ring, or on the tennis court, you might see no difference in behavior. You might see, you're looking at gold medalists. Their behavior is the best in the world. But I can't, with my hand on heart, say that the performance behaviors you'll see from someone will be different if they have this understanding versus if they don't. Because after all, we're saying you don't have to be in a good space to be in a good performance, right? So I don't think you can point to the performance behaviors. I think it's more of the off-field behaviors where you'll see more connection with teammates. You'll see more compassion for opponents. You'll see more self-honesty and more kindness. I think you'll see all of that, but also those bigger pictures of like, what's motivating someone? Is it I'll be happy when, or are they being motivated by that intrinsic love of the game, the sport, the activity, whatever the endeavor they're doing? So that's how it looks to me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I guess where I think I was looking at is like we've been looking at some the performances of these young athletes, and it seems that because they're not now concerned with their thinking so much, even if it does come and it creates an impulse in the body of nervousness, and they're not so bothered by it anymore, it seems that they're able to stay fresh and in the moment, and that impacts their accuracy. So and we did a little study over a period of time here, and it seems that their accuracy has gone up because they've had more time, I suppose, with a clearer mind, and in, I guess, I think a few people are saying like the bandwidth of wisdom is expanded, so there's more opportunity to have new, fresh thinking and stay very much connected to the love of the game. Whereas when thoughts really start to seem real to you, then the bandwidth of potential for new thought, wisdom coming through, kind of reduces. So I guess I've just seen that there is a potential for more accuracy. It's not guaranteed because, of course, at any moment you can still perform. Like I was still able to perform and see something that completely changed my life, and I was for sure on my backside.
Right.
So yeah, it's a very interesting discussion when you talk about results.
Well, the other thing that occurs to me is like, I am so grateful to have this understanding, and I'm passionate about sharing it with people. I'm loving sharing it in the world of business, and sharing it with coaches and other transformation professionals, and loving sharing it in the world of athletics. I was doing a talk with the team the other day. it's great to see. And I genuinely believe that seeing this for yourself can have all kinds of benefits. And I fully expect that to play out in terms of improved performance and improved results. Totally, 100%. And I watched the Mayweather-McGregor fight the other night. And those guys are amazing athletes. I have no indication that they've ever heard of this understanding, but they still are in the zone and present and aware and demonstrating just incredible mastery behaviors and that sort of thing. And that's the thing. Everyone already has this truth within them. Everyone on the planet has benefited from this in countless ways throughout our life. So while I absolutely see huge value in getting an understanding of it, that's what I've made my work and, my life's work about. But I think part of the value of seeing that is also seeing that everyone's already benefiting from this. Everyone's already benefiting from this self-correcting system. Everyone's already benefiting from this innate capacity for security and resilience and creativity and intelligence and performance. It's the source of every extraordinary performance that's ever been played in the history of the world. It's the source of every beautiful piece of music and every gorgeous piece of art that's ever been created. It's the source of every incredible speech that's ever been given. It all came from the same place. So, and it's already what's accounting for all the great performances in the world.
Isn't it great? Isn't it wonderful that there's something that's going on anyway, whether we've heard it many times, but whether you know about it, whether you care about it, whether you want to know more about its nature, it's happening anyway, because I love what you were pointing to, and that conversation for me is just lovely. And it's not esoteric for me at all. I love just to talk about who and what we really are at our essence, and how it is we are all connected by, just simply we come into the world the same way, we leave the same way in terms of the physical form. We can see that sameness. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the show. I certainly have really enjoyed this conversation with Jamie. And I'd just like to say, if you would like to get hold of Jamie, you can do so on www.jamiesmart.com and on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and Snapchat at jamiesmart.com. And if you'd like to drop me a line, please do so. I'd love to hear from you. Love to hear what you're getting out of these shows, and any insights and realizations that you're having, please do share with me on denise.holland@class-performance.com, or you can just give me a call on the mobile 0770 923 210. That's the country code +44 for the UK. And my website is www.class-performance.com. So that just leaves me to say thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to sharing with you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.